Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. So, we are now going to be going live with a motivational speaker stroke podcaster who is based up in Scotland, and she's going to be talking about what she does and why does she do it. And we're going to learn all about that. So, let's invite Jojo Fraser on this live. Jojo Fraser, send. Here we go. Wait.
Hello.
Hi, Jojo.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm trying to, it was quite up close because I got it on my phone, so I'm trying to get it. I'm very well. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Cool.
Firstly, thank you so much for coming on this live and helping me in the mission to share the knowledge and spread the positivity. So thank you so much for coming on here today.
No worries. Nice to be here.
Super. So, Jojo, before we move the conversation forward, if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what exactly is it that you do.
So I'm Jojo Fraser. I'm a motivational author, speaker, content creator, writer, do a bit of coaching, content, just trying to keep it all really positive, build people up and help them get their mojo back.
That's absolutely amazing. So, Jojo, what I want to ask you is, and I ask this to all my guests that come on here, when we were growing up as kids, teenagers, school going, college going, university going, and we see a lot of careers in front of us, like becoming an architect, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. What did you aspire to be when you were growing up? Or was it that you were growing up with the mindset that you want to help people?
Yeah, do you know, at first I was determined that I'd be a nursery teacher because I thought kids were just so cute. But then I realized I did it for work experience when I was 15 and I was like, this is really hard, like looking after all these kids. I don't know if I've got the patience. So I realized that it wasn't that. But actually, looking back, when I was about maybe 9, 10 years old, I discovered drama. I was
Okay.
given like a script in primary school and it was like love at first sight. I just loved getting into different character because I was a really shy child, ironically. And yeah, now I do like the number one fear in the world, public speaking. But I was so shy. But when I discovered drama and performing, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I did a lot of drama at school and I was going to go to acting school. But then a teacher had said to me, look, acting is so competitive. I wouldn't recommend it. You're amazing at business management. So why don't you go and do that university and get like a sensible degree? So I took the advice and sometimes have that
Do you
kind of
do you think it was a great advice taken on board, or would you, if you had to turn time back around, would you carry on with acting and drama?
potentially, like, I loved uni. I met great friends. I learned loads about business and marketing, so they're useful life skills. But I do sometimes think when I watch like big actors, I'm like, because the ones that are really good can be quite present. It's like when you're there and you're performing, you're all in, and that's what I love. Like when I'm on stage and I'm doing a big presentation,
Yeah,
although I'm in character, like sometimes I do like voices and tell stories, so you're performing.
yeah.
um and I just kind of think, oh, I wonder, would I have got one of those parts, or would I have really, and I don't like to use the word like made it, because that's, what
Yeah,
even does that mean? Like some people, to make it, yeah, you have to be like Brad Pitt or something.
yeah,
um I don't know, but I just wonder, like, would I have got an Oscar or something? You just never know.
of
But I
course.
always I always say to people, it's never too late. So
So you
I'm
might so you might flip time back and possibly get into it.
maybe I'll get into acting again. Yeah, but who knows? Who knows?
Good stuff. So you mentioned you went to university and you studied business studies, you studied business management. Going to university, obviously, it does teach you the life skills, educational skills. I mean, life skills are only taught when you get into the real world and you have to apply for the job and do the job and listen to your boss and all that kind of stuff. So the learning skills or the business skills that the university taught you, do you actually use that in your day-to-day life right now, or is that all history and you do according to what you think or your experience? How do you move forward in life?
There's a bit of intuition in there that is just part of you, right? So you follow your gut feeling. But I would say, and like people skills are so important in so many roles as well. So I would say some of it comes down to like personality and a passion for people and stuff. But a lot of the marketing stuff has helped me because you obviously learn like presentation skills, you learn about focusing and about really sort of the whole product mix and things like that. And I guess for me, I worked in marketing for a while, which was great experience. And then starting a personal brand, I've had to use like a lot of marketing. And but then because things are moving so quickly as well, we didn't have social media when I was at uni. And
We didn't have Instagram lives.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is that it was social media and having a presence on there that grew my brand and got me bookings and got me writing a book and got my blog really, you know, really popular. And then I got radio opportunities and all sorts of cool stuff off the back of that. So
Before we get into what you are doing currently, I mean, after university to when you started doing your motivational speaking and dealing with people and getting that motivation drive within people, did you do any other kind of jobs within your career before you got onto being what you're doing today?
yeah, so I got a job as an account manager for like a media agency. So I was doing like online search engine optimization with clients, a little bit of online PR, so writing. And then I did work for luxury boutique hotels. So in the marketing team, had a lot of lunches with clients.
So you got to make good use of your marketing skills that you learned at university to put them into act
I would
while you
say
were doing your job.
so. I would say so. But then, like with the first job, it was all training on the go. You know, I hadn't really studied online marketing extensively at uni. So I think that was just experience. Some people say you just go to university for a big party. I don't know.
I mean, I'm into the minds of that as well. I mean, university. I mean, when I went to get a job, and all I was told is you don't have enough experience. You don't have enough experience. So why didn't university teach me that experience that I need in the real world? So you
Yeah.
see, you see those things of going to university to party. Yes, you have that exposure. You meet so many people. You make friends, and you could make friends from different career backgrounds that people are getting into. So yes, I do understand that, but the fact is, it's only for 3 years. It's a short term. It's
Yeah.
if you're studying architecture, then maybe 5, 7 years. But then what after that? What
Hmm.
after the fact that you've gone to university and then you go and apply to jobs, and like today, like the day and age that we are in right now with all this negative COVID and all that stuff in front of us, I mean, how can people get that experience to apply for jobs? And that's where I think that is university a big sort of bubble that
Hmm.
people don't see past. But yes, it does. My understanding of going to university right now, after studying at university for 3 years and running my own business and everything, and I also studied business studies.
Hmm.
I wouldn't send my kids to university to study business studies.
Right. Yeah.
If they wanted to do something like engineering, architecture, becoming a doctor, which also I'm in two minds about, but then all of those real life skills that you learn from university that you put into act, yes. But for studying business, come and sit on this chair and do business. This is
Yeah.
what business is about. You deal with people, you know people, you use your experience. But that's how I'm at university. So, how did you get into motivational speaking, writing a book, becoming an author, doing podcasts? Where did that journey start, and how did you come about it?
So when I worked for the boutique hotels, they were saying, "Oh, we love your writing. You should set up a blog." And I'd always blogged before they were called blogs.
Okay.
Um, so I set up the blog, and lots of people were enjoying the articles. And then I got this real passion to do more in the well-being space when my dad was diagnosed with depression in 2014. So that was a really tough year, sort of watching him go to a really bad place and then get better. And I realized how much stigma there was. And I thought, right, I really need to do more in the kind of well-being space and like research mental health. I'd always had this sort of entertainment side of me too, like being on stage. Like I've always been told I've got a really positive energy. So I thought, well, how can I use this?
That drama mode kicked in, right?
Exactly. So I was like, right, we're getting to perform again. We'll bring the drama back.
Yeah.
So I researched an awful lot around mental health, positive psychology, broke a lot of stigma, ran a marathon for the Mental Health Foundation. So a lot of it was just raising awareness at first. And then because the blogs, it had a good response. People were saying, you need to make a book out of this. So yeah, I just wrote the book slowly over about a year and a half.
Can I
And
ask you what was that book called?
so my first book is Mummy Jojo Uncut, Time for a Mojo Injection.
Wow.
So yeah, a bit of a mouthful. But it's all about getting the mojo back, and it's very honest, and it's a kind of like motivational book. And the podcast I launched just 2 months before. So Wagamama sponsored that, and we had this amazing night in the restaurant with lots of bloggers and press and friends and family, launched the podcast, and then the book with the same name came out 2 months later. So
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So now that you're a full-time blogger, full-time speaker, author, how many books have you written so far?
So that one came out in August 2018, and then I wrote another one, which is about 50,000 words. But things, I kind of had to have a pause on it because COVID hit. I had a health scare myself at the start of the year, so yeah, it was like, right, we're just going to pause this, and I've come back to that book, and I'm kind of rejigging the title and stuff.
But
So
is everything okay with your health now? So there's no more
oh
health scare.
yeah,
That's
yes, thank
super.
you,
That
much
is
better.
super.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So one question I like to ask motivational speakers, yes, it's all great motivating others, and you can do that. It's pretty easy, right? You give them positive advice, send positive energy that way, and they'll be motivated to do whatever. But how does a motivational speaker get motivated?
Yeah, it's a great question. And sometimes, in the past, I've been guilty of giving all my energy away and not taking that time, or thinking I'm taking the time, booking the spa day and going, well, I've had a spa day, but still not really enough when you're, and because, we're so, everything's so accessible now with social media and everything, it can be very easy to not keep tabs on how many hours you're putting in and stuff. So I would say first it's realizing what you need. So we need more oxytocin. That's what we're missing the most. Many of us are hooked on dopamine, so we love that, that sort of drive system where we're achieving. So knowing how you get that oxytocin. So I would say whatever makes you go kind of like, and you're really chilled out. So that could just be watching a trashy box set. It could be going for a run and you're getting your happy hormones.
Yep.
Sleep, protecting the sleep. Being around motivational people, learning, staying curious and open-minded. Pamper, singing, music. I sing all my stories a lot. I get right into that. So just really coming out of the mind and in what I call the mojo. So that place where you're kind of present, your mind's not racing. So you're just either lost in a good song or a good movie or having a laugh just making sure that I'm keeping tabs on how often I'm getting that. And yeah, that's a daily task, though. Need
I
to
mean,
check.
that checking up on yourself is the most important task. But a lot of people forget that in maybe they're running their own businesses, their jobs, and all that kind of stuff, and they don't get time to do that. And that's why people like yourself are there to bring that drive or bring that mojo back into them so that they can go out and achieve whatever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about podcasts, I mean, there are so many podcasts. You just search on Apple and you like before you even search, and there are thousands upon thousands of podcasts that are there. What are your podcasts about? Is it about motivation, or do you cover other subjects as well within your podcasts?
Yeah, definitely a lot of motivational content, a lot of very real interviews as well, like very honest, talking about mental health, the mojo, all kinds of lifestyle topics that people struggle to open up about, and it's just a safe place. It's almost like free therapy as well for people. So, we cover burnout, depression, anxiety, sex, relationships, divorce, insecurities, imposter syndrome, like so many different things. And then I try and keep it quite upbeat. So, have a bit of a song at the end, shake it off, try and have fun with it. So it's not just all doom and gloom.
Absolutely.
It's trying to raise the vibrational state up there, but
I
it's
mean,
great fun.
I've just started listening to podcasts, and I literally about a month ago or a month and a half ago, I started listening to them, and the reason for me to listen to them was to learn more about marketing through social media and Instagram and Facebook and all that. But most of the podcasts that I would go to, all of these podcasters would talk the same thing. Doing the same thing, using the same methods and all that kind of stuff. It's sometimes hard to find the right podcast that would possibly be something different to what these guys are saying. Why is that the case? Why do podcasters do the same thing and talk about the same thing? I mean, this is how I see I'm different, right? And being a real estate agent in London and dealing with properties in London and the UK, what I thought about doing differently is doing these live sessions. And that only started since lockdown. Before that, it was just same thing every agent is doing, selling the property, doing a video, taking photos, doing all that kind of stuff, and then posting it online. Why is it the case that most of the podcasters do the same podcast or talk about the same thing or the same methods that you don't want to listen to because you've already listened to it? Where can they go and find all these different people talking about different things, using different methods? How do they do that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't listen to loads of podcasts myself, which is bad because I have a podcast, but I didn't want to be too, not inspired, but too influenced by other stuff. So
Yeah.
I wanted just to keep it really real. And I think people buy into mine because of the energy and stuff and just the fun. And I've got a lot of loyal followers from that because they just come in and they feel good after it, or they feel like they're not alone, or so I don't know about other podcasts. Do you mean like, is there certain categories that you mean that are samey, or like business podcasts, or what's?
Business podcasts, marketing podcasts, I mean, I've gone through maybe 7, 8 different podcasts just to trying to check out how to increase my Instagram following, my engagement levels and all that. And all of them talk the same thing.
Really?
And it's not like I'm not doing that. I am doing that. But I
Uh-huh.
wanted to find different ways of possibly what they're doing. And these guys have got like 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just thinking whether you're actually putting out some value in because it's not hard using these social media platforms because everything's pretty straightforward. But it's just the case that they all talk the same thing. But then that's what you get, right? I mean, it's there, it's free, so you can everyone tries to do that and get that on there. But in terms of your podcast, what you do in terms of motivational podcasts,
Mhm.
have you ever sort of thought about the advice that you give people on those podcasts? Do you ever apply them in your life as well?
Oh yeah, I have to. Um,
It's
I
like a practice what you preach, right?
Oh, I have to, or I just wouldn't be, it wouldn't be sustainable, you know, when you give out a lot and when you listen a lot as well, because it is a little bit like therapy in that I'm really creating a safe space where I'm listening judgment free and I am letting people talk. You know, sometimes people have cried on it. And there's been times that I've just cried too because what they're saying is so
Wow.
like there was an episode and one of the girls, she'd lost her baby and she was at birth and she was saying she just kept blaming herself and I was saying to her it's not your fault and she was crying and you know, but then there were so many great themes that came out of that conversation that people took from it. Even if they hadn't been through that sort of trauma, just like the way you can recover from things and the way that it's the mind, you know, blaming yourself is so easy and things like that. So it's noticing like patterns and things that come up, and there's normally some really kind of key takeaways. There was one, a guy was talking about when he lost his dad and when he was sort of holding his hand and sort of going through the story and how he sort of turned that into a positive experience and just like speaking about how people grieve and things like that. You know, just it's a powerful place and I guess for me there's always like one amazing little takeaway when you sit with someone intensely for an hour or whatever and then dance around at the ends and shake it all off, but there's always something that comes out of that, you know, and you're like that is amazing, like I really needed to hear that, people will really need to hear this. um so yeah, I just love it for that. I get as much out of it as the listeners, I think, just because, you know, when you stay curious and you listen with an open mind, humans are amazing. Like we're all miracles. Like I think
Absolutely.
we're just incredible. And
Absolutely.
I just love having like deep conversations rather than the sort of surface level boring stuff. I
Yeah.
want to get deep and encourage more people to get deep and not just be all, you know, small talk all the time and stuff, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, and also want to talk about your motivational speaking, which you do in front of audiences. Do you do that only in Scotland, or do you do it all over the country?
All over. At the moment, it's not so easy. It's more online. So the
Yep.
funny thing is, when you're so I was giving a talk to like 130 people on Zoom, right? And I was really going for it. But the funny part is because everyone's muted, you can't hear if they're laughing. Um, but like so far so good. And at the end, people have asked lots of questions, and they're like, "Oh, that was brilliant." But I don't know, so it's really really hard because you can't feel
You
it
don't know
energy
whether they're clapping or laughing or anything like that. So,
anymore.
it's like talking to a dead wall. Like
Yeah.
there's no interaction there. How has it been? How has it been during this lockdown and COVID for you to sort of adopt yourself? Because obviously, before lockdown and COVID happened, it was where you could go out and you could do your motivational speaking in front of audiences. How has it been so far? Has it been a good learning curve for you in terms of adopting yourself to do these online speakings, and now you can do it in your house? You know, you don't have to go anywhere. So do
Yeah,
you think you'll carry that on, or no, there is a time when you want to get out and get to see people and see that audience there and see that interaction being built?
yeah, I do want to really do more live things and speaking to someone about a TED talk and things like that. So yeah, I just love the buzz, but at the same time, we have to adapt and online's better than nothing, right?
Absolutely.
And I just have to bring everything I have to those sessions. But there's nothing like a live audience.
Absolutely.
But then the convenience, I can just do it from the house, you know, keep myself up and then like, yeah, it's great. No drive or commute or flights or, you know, but
You get just on the bed, that's it. Turn on the laptop, start
yeah,
speaking.
just go for it. And it is amazing that you can still have impact, you know, if you really give it. But there's nothing like a busy room, eye
Absolutely.
contact,
Absolutely.
feeling, then people
Absolutely.
coming up at the end and stuff. And then you can, someone bought 10 of my books after I gave my last talk.
Wow.
And yeah, they bought 10 straight away. Because normally if you do like live gigs, people come up and ask for the book and you sign it and things. But no, I'm just adapting. I guess we all have to, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, knowing about what you do and how you motivate people in terms of doing your podcast, doing motivational speaking, and writing books. So thank you so much for coming on here and sharing that with us. But before you go, you are a positive speaker. You motivate people. So it's going to be good to ask you this question and possibly get a different positive advice than what I've heard in about 150 live sessions of myself. What positive advice would you like to share with the world so they can forget all this negativity that they have, that has been there since so long, since 6 months now? What positive advice would you like to share with the world today so that they can take that on board and move forward in life?
Yeah, I mean, it has been an absolutely crazy time, but I always say, like, this year for building character is amazing. Like, we can get something good out of it. So it's stripping everything back and going, right, where am I? What's been good out of this? And what are the key lessons? And what do I want to do with that? Um, I think it's really good to sort of think about like what your values are and like what your kind of your core thing is, you know. So for me, it's like entertaining people and being real and honest and motivating people. So you get time to think about, well, what's really important to you. Not a parent or a friend or a partner, like what's really important to you. Because I think people have had more time with not having to commute and stuff, so you have more time to like meditate, really think about like the bigger questions, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think if you could just reflect on that, and if you can get one positive, you can look for one positive out of this year, and start small. You know, you don't have to just learn 50 new skills or whatever, but just check in with yourself, and if you can think of one thing that you can really bring out of this, like one key lesson, and tying that in with your passions and your values, and just using the time for yourself, you know, to check
Exactly.
in with yourself. And yeah, I could talk about this stuff all day, but yeah, yeah.
But next time you're down in London, do shout me out. I would love to come and join you on your motivational speaking day whenever you're in town. It'd be good to see you and see you how you perform. So, but it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for coming on here.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you,
Have a
Jojo.
great night.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 So that was Jojo Fraser, who is a positive motivational speaker, speaks to a great audience of people all around the country. Do check her if you want to check her out. Check out her profile on Instagram. Do check her out. Check her podcast, and also she does write books. So I'm sure she will be helpful to you in any which way when you need positiveness and motivation in your life. So thank you to Jojo for coming on here, sharing that advice with us, sharing that motivational um, knowledge with us today. And thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. I will see you again on my live session tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.